All right, let's talk about compounding. It's probably the single most powerful force out there for turning small, consistent actions into some serious, life-changing wealth. Okay, so what if I told you that the key to financial freedom, it's not some secret stock tip, it's not a winning lottery ticket. What if it was something that's actually within your reach? Because here's the thing, and it's a big one. You don't need to start rich to get rich. You just need two things. That's it. As much time as you can get your hands on, and a real understanding of this one powerful idea. So you're probably thinking, if it's that simple, why isn't everyone doing it? Why isn't everyone wealthy? Well, it usually comes down to this one really simple but incredibly costly mental block. I mean, come on, we've all been there, right? You look at what you can afford to save or invest, maybe it's just $10, and you think to yourself, what's the point? This isn't going to change my life. It just feels so insignificant. So we put it off. We tell ourselves, oh, I'll start when I have some real money to invest. And this really boils down to two completely different ways of thinking. On one hand, you've got that get-rich-quick mindset, chasing the latest hype, trying to perfectly time the market, always looking for that one big score. It's super impatient. But on the other side, you've got the compounding mindset. This is all about focusing on real long-term value, embracing the fact that it's a slow process, and really getting that time in the market is what matters, not trying to time the market. And this is where it gets really, really crucial. The biggest cost of waiting isn't the money you didn't invest, it's the time you lost. Let me make this real for you. Imagine a 25-year-old and a 35-year-old. They both invest just $200 a month. That's it. But that 25-year-old, just because they have 10 extra years for their money to work, they could end up with nearly double the wealth by retirement. Think about that. The real loss wasn't the few dollars you didn't invest. The real permanent loss is that decade of growth you can never, ever get back. Okay, so enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. Let's talk about this unstoppable force that a guy like Warren Buffett has called the eighth wonder of the world. So what is it? Put simply, compounding is your money making its own money. And then that new money, well, it starts making even more money. It's this incredible feedback loop of growth that, once you get it going, is seriously hard to stop. The best way to really picture this is to think of a snowball rolling down a really long hill. Right at the very top, when you start, that snowball is tiny. It's almost nothing. You can barely even see it getting bigger. But as it keeps rolling and rolling, it picks up more and more snow. It gets bigger. It gets faster. And this is exactly what happens to your money over time. Yeah, look, in those first few years, the growth is pretty slow. But then, look at that jump. The amount of money you make between year 15 and year 30 is actually more than all the money you made in the first 15 years put together. That right there, that's the explosive power we're talking about. So you see, this is the magic of it all. The growth isn't a straight line. It's not linear. It's exponential. It's a curve that gets steeper and steeper and steeper. Your money isn't just adding up. It's literally multiplying. And believe me, that is a world of difference. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we put this amazing force to work for us? Well, let's look at a super simple blueprint inspired by one of the greatest to ever do it. All right, there are basically 3 rules here, and you can't really skip any of them. Rule number 1, start now. I don't care how small it is, just start, and then be relentlessly consistent. Rule 2, reinvest everything. This is so, so important. You have to let your profits become part of that growing snowball. And rule number 3, focus on long-term value. For most people, this means things like broad market index funds or solid dividend stocks, stuff where that growth can be automatically reinvested for you. And here are a few more principles that just make this whole thing even more powerful. First, you have to avoid high-interest debt. That's just compounding in reverse. It's working against you. Second, keep your strategy dead simple. The simpler it is, the more likely you are to actually stick with it. And finally, and this might be the most important one of all, you have to control your emotions. The market's going to go up and down, that's a given. But panic and hype, they are the absolute enemies of compounding. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? We live in a world that rewards speed and instant gratification. But with this stuff, the ability to just wait, that's what separates okay results from truly extraordinary ones. You really don't need luck. You just need discipline. And patience? Well, that's the ultimate form of financial discipline. Okay, so this brings us to our final point. And honestly, this is probably the most important takeaway from this entire thing. So after all this, after we've looked at the math, after we've talked about the mindset, what is the single biggest mistake you can possibly make? The one thing that can just torpedo everything? It's simple. Waiting to start. That's it. It's not about picking the wrong stock. It's not about missing some big market rally. The single most destructive financial decision you can make is doing nothing. And that's because compounding runs on one fuel: time. Every single day or week or year that you wait, that's a period of exponential growth that is just gone. It's lost forever. You can't go back and make it up later. It's just gone. So here's the bottom line, the most crucial point of all. Your greatest financial asset isn't your paycheck. It's not how much you have in your savings account right now. It's the time you have stretching out in front of you. So start small, stay patient, and just let the quiet, unstoppable power of compounding go to work building your wealth for you.